Hello everyone, this is Jackie Williams. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in New Zealand. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm excited to share with you some fun projects. Be sure to stay to the end where I have some additional samples to share with you for your inspiration. In this video, I want to share with you some projects using the beautiful Country Woods Suite collection. I'm on page 48 and 49 of the annual catalog. And then on 50 and 51, it breaks down the products. So I'm just showing you inside the catalog because it's quite a few products. So you can see that you have 2 bundles in this mega suite, which you can buy these individually as bundles or even the particular pieces individually, or you can buy the entire thing, everything on both these pages for one price. And just note that this is New Zealand dollars in case you're watching from another country. Now this suite also includes gray and basic gray pearls, the eyelet embossing folder, and 2 packs of paper and 2 rolls of ribbon. So there's just a ton in here and it's just beautiful. So I do want to show you the papers just really quickly before we start. These are probably my favorite thing out of the suite. So we have, first of all, the Country Wood papers, which is a whole pack of 12 by 12 wood prints. These will be very useful as we create. So we have grays and browns and peaches and whites. And I love this one, more of a turquoise, and then this really fun striped one that will be great for a sort of beach themes, as well as other things, but it says beach to me. And then this pack is a little more subdued. This is the Country Lace pack. And at first, you know, it was like, oh, those are nice. But actually, I found them extremely useful for working in with other prints. And also, we've got a nice basic beige print. It's nice when you want just, you know, a color, but something just a little more interesting than plain cardstock. And also maybe just a little bit softer, like this kind of a print is very useful and you can stamp on it and it would show up well, and this is a really useful pack. All right, let's get started with our project. I'm going to start with a base with thick basic white, but I have another sample to share with you where I used early espresso, so quite a different finished effect. And then I've cut 4 strips of one of the papers. And one of the reasons for doing this is to create a background, but also some of these wood grains have stripes in them. So they have like panels, but for some of them, they're a little more of a solid wood print. So if you want to create a panel effect, you can just simply cut it into strips. And then you could ink the edges, you could sand the edges, or you could use the edge of your scissors here just to rough it up a little bit. Or honestly, you could just leave them plain. Okay, then I'm just gonna put my little planks right on my card base. Just got a tiny bit of a white edge. Now you could butt them right up against each other and just have that texture, or you could just give it a tiny little space to show that white through. I'm just giving it a little bit there. And then for the last one, you can trim your card, or you could trim your plank if it's not quite fitting right. I'm happy enough with that. Okay, then I have cut a 2-inch piece of white and the 2 1/8-inch piece of early espresso. Now I did emboss that with the eyelet folder. I'm actually just going to use this as a mat, so you'll really only see a tiny bit on the edge. It was mostly just to show you what that looks like, although we do have some samples, and you could rough up these edges too if you wanted. Now on this piece of white, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a yellow background like this. Just a little bit of a haze there, but not so much that, you know, jumps out at you. And actually, before I put that on, I'm going to put on my words. So I'm going to heat emboss my words right on one of these planks. So use your emboss buddy. Then we have Versamark, and I'll just use that Hello Friend. I got this ready so I could sort of decide about where it's gonna go, about there. And then we put on the powder. And then we simply heat it with the heat tool. Beautiful. I love stamping on designer series paper. Just need to remember to do it more often. And then we'll go ahead and put this piece on. Now I want it fairly close to my word, but not so close because I want my images to overhang on the right-hand side as well. I love this textured background. It's a nice way to use your papers, and not even just wood papers. You could do this with some of the other prints as well. We just need to decide what images we want on our card front. We have lots of choices with this suite. We've got the birdhouse, birds with flowers, bird with the birdhouse. We have a table, a pot, teapot, 2 different types of flowers, or just some leaves. So any of those would work. So I did create a sample earlier. So for this sample, I wanted to do something just slightly different. So I have prepared a table and the jug and the roses. So I have stamped those in Memento black ink. And then I have used these blends here on the side and colored those in. So I've used Berry Burst, Granny Apple Green, Peach Pie, and Daffodil Delight. And then for the pot, I've used Smoky Slate, as well as the new Summer Splash. And that Summer Splash on top of the Smoky Slate actually looks pretty awesome. Okay, so let's put on the table first, and then obviously cut them out with the dies that are included in this set. So I want to have that about like this. So, oops, it's covering my F. So let's put it a little more that way. And then for these pieces, I think it would be best to put them up on dimensionals. So 2 or 3 on each of those pieces. And then that will sit on the table. I'm just deciding what looks right to the edge or kind of more in the middle. And then for these flowers, I'm just going to put them down a little further like this. So this card, you could either just sort of trim that last little bud off, or it might just fit in the envelope. And that's okay. I'm okay with either one of those options. Okay, then we just need to embellish this up. And I'm going to use a bit of the linen thread. I think the linen thread goes really nicely with this kind of more rustic theme. So I've made 2 loops, one smaller than the other, and then just fold those loops in half to make like an 8 sort of shape. And then just grab another little piece and tie that in the middle. And let's see if I have the glue dot here. And then just decide where it looks best. I think it looks best maybe here off to the side like this. And my tails are, I think, too long, so let's trim those off. Now I've got the in color enamel dots. There's also the in color shimmer gems. I felt the shimmer didn't really go with this feel of a card, so I do suggest you get both types. And it's really nice because you're getting basically like a rainbow of colors. It's nice to have that selection with your embellishments. I think I'm gonna go with the Summer Splash. And there we go. It's a really quick card to do, but a nice way to use your country wood paper. So here's the other sample that I made earlier. And this one, the difference is I've used an early espresso card base, used different words and then different images in through here. I also used a Berry Burst background instead of an early espresso. I think I prefer the early espresso, but either looks good. It's just personal preference. So what do you think? Now I do have some other samples to share with you using this beautiful suite. So first I have a little treat holder using the birdhouse dies and the little bird stamp. So I've cut 2 of the birdhouse and then just created a simple little box to go in the middle and then some treats on the inside. So that's a really fun 3D project. Nice when you want to give a little gift, but nothing really expensive, like to a coworker or somebody like that. And then this one is using similar images that we've used on today's sample. This time I've showcased more the embossing folder on crumb cake and used the new Pretty in Pink color. And then these 2 samples are similar, just different color variations of the same. And this one's a little bit of a fun fold card where it opens a couple times and you have pretty things all along the way. So this is a use of the Country Lace papers here. So you see how they actually tie in quite well with an otherwise busy card with lots going on. It just gives a little bit of color with some interest in the background. Now this project is included in the Country Rose 12 project video class. So if you'd like the instructions and the measurements for this card, please click on the link in the description of the video. And then my last sample is what I've called a hanging frame card. It doesn't quite fit in my screen, so I'll turn it to the side. This one has got window sheets in the middle, and you can use all the dies, or you can stamp in color images like I've done here. And this is a nice one when you want to give somebody something that they can put on display quite easily and for a period of time. Also nice just as a home decor piece if you would like. And then it does fold up nicely for mailing or in the envelope. And if you'll notice, the gray ribbon is actually the white ribbon that's included in the pack. I've just used my Stampin' Blends markers to color up that ribbon to match. And if you would like instructions for this project, there is a link to a PDF in the description of the video as well. So there are my projects with the Country Wood Suite. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope this inspires you and enjoy your crafting. If you know someone who would also enjoy this video, please share, leave me a comment, and of course subscribe. This is Jackie Williams, and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.